Hi, thanks for tuning in to Investments and Refreshments. My name is JT, and today we're going to be talking GME. So, as many of you know, GME is the ticker symbol for GameStop. If you don't know what a ticker symbol is, a ticker symbol just basically tells you the stock that you're looking at. It's an identifier. So, GME and GameStop are going to be used interchangeably throughout this video. What was up with GME trending so much last week? It was quite entertaining to see. And if you were a part of Wall Street Bets, it wasn't just last week. You've seen this coming for months, maybe even a year. And it was quite entertaining, and for many people, it was also confusing, especially for people that were outside of what was going on Wall Street Bets. It kind of came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, GameStop, this slowly dying brick and mortar video game retailer who was on the verge of what many thought would be bankruptcy and probably, the closure of the company, all of a sudden coming back to life, and in a very big way. The stock price went from $4 all the way up to $450. And how exactly did this happen? So, while we're going to be talking about GME, I am going to be enjoying this Austin InCider's Pineapple Cider. Austin InCider's is from Austin, Texas, and on the can it says, "How do you like them apples?" I will tell you how I like these apples, and I will be reviewing this at the end of the video, so stay tuned if you're here for this. Where did this all start? I would say that the resurrection of GameStop started with a few key players. One of them being a very familiar name, Michael Burry, who, whenever the share price was down to $4, he invested and bought 4 million shares, which is comparatively to where the stock then went, it's pretty impressive. But if you've seen The Big Short, that's why that name might be familiar to you. He also was able to see the housing crisis was going to happen a few years before everyone else was able to see that the subprime mortgages were just garbage. So he basically saw it as a value play. He didn't see GameStop going out of business, and his reasoning was this. He said Xbox and PlayStation announced that on their next generation consoles, they are going to have disk drives, which means that gives GameStop a few more years to last. In light of recent events, I would say that he was correct on this play. There is another name that I'm sure many people are familiar with now, and that is Roaring Kitty, or DFV. Roaring Kitty on YouTube, he in 2019 actually started his journey with GameStop. Is well documented. You can find several videos on YouTube, and he also regularly posts his position on Wall Street Bets. He also had a very similar thesis to Michael Burry, and he was also obviously correct. And the share price, I believe he started around $4, $5, and he was also buying call options. And you can see all of his positions but the abridged version is this: he took $50,000. That was his starting amount, and that $50,000 has now grown to $25 million was the latest that I've seen, and at its peak it was at $48 million. Now, whenever somebody says diamond hands, meaning that you hold regardless of what happens to the share price, he really does have diamond hands. DFV is the pinnacle diamond hands ape on Wall Street bets. So, what is an exit strategy? I mean, obviously DFV doesn't have an exit strategy, but what if you bought in way after DFV? What if you bought in at the peak of this GME run-up? What do you do then? You buy in at $350 a share. You just buy 5 shares. Let's just, for the sake of mathematics, let's just say that you buy 5 shares at $300. You're in at $1,500. And now, at today's low, it was $55. So, now expecting that tomorrow the downward trend continues, that could hit $50. So let's just round down. So $50, your 5 shares starting at $1,500 have now become $250. What can you do? There are 2 ways to play this now. And you guys know what I'm going to say. So there are 2 outlooks that you can have at this point. There's the bearish outlook and the bullish outlook. The bullish outlook tells you to hold or buy more even. The bearish outlook is telling you that you're delusional if you buy more. And in some cases, they may have a point, and in other cases, they might not. And I'm going to explore both of those scenarios with you now. So the bears are saying that the squeeze is closed. And what they mean by that is that the shorts have covered their positions and they have closed their positions, which is a distinct possibility. And it's becoming more and more apparent that that is the likely scenario. The people that are saying that the shorts haven't closed their positions, the short interest is still over 100%, it's becoming likelier and likelier that that is not the case. We're going to find the true numbers on February 9th. But as far as we can tell right now, that short interest does look like it is dwindling. I'm not going to tell you one way or the other whether to close, whether to sell or not at this point. Again, this video is not financial advice by any means. But if you are in it and you got in at 300, it's down to 50, I would recommend holding at this point, seeing what Ryan Cohen has in store, obviously with the conviction that he has to take the position that he has, take the initiative that he has to buy 13% of shares and join the board of directors. He must have an idea for what's going to happen in the future, and he's already spoken to some of those points. He could see GameStop in the future becoming the Amazon of used video games, and many people would think, like, in 10 years, there's not going to be many used video games. It's all going to be streamed. But there's still going to be video game hardware. People are going to still be using gaming PCs 10 years from now. And with right to repair becoming more, regulated in the expectation, he is going. I believe that his vision is that GameStop expands its refurbishment factory because it has a giant refurbishment factory that's located in Grapevine, Texas. And I believe that he's going to expand that. Currently, it operates, and they're able to refurbish video game hardware from several different companies. And with right to repair becoming more of the standard, a lot of people are expecting that GameStop moves into that PC repair space, gaming PC repair space, PC upgrades, that sort of thing. And even striking up a deal with some of these e-commerce video game platforms and having the right to sell, for instance, used video games that people no longer want anymore, having the ability to trade video games among different platforms. So there are some interesting things there that are happening. Do I know for a fact that GameStop will go back up to $350 in the short term? I do not. But I will disclose that I am holding GME shares currently. I would like to see what the vision is and what is in store for the future. Do I know if the squeeze is squoze? I don't know for a fact, but it is very likely that it has squoze. And if you got in late, then you're in a difficult position, but I say hold. You're in a long-term play now, and let's hope for the future. Let's hope for the best. I feel very similarly about GameStop and some of the other meme stonks, as people would refer to them. The hype has definitely dwindled down. People aren't talking about it as much. You can see this data on Google Trends. You can see that people are not Googling it as much as they were a week ago. So the hype has definitely fallen, and much of the price movement in the shares were due to the amount of hype, the amount of people that were getting behind this movement. And something that people need to remember is that many of the people that were investing in GME were actually investing in Wall Street Bets, because they believe in that subreddit and they believe in the message of the movement, which was that retail traders deserve a bigger seat at the table with the huge hedge fund billionaires. And they caught the hedge fund billionaires likely naked short selling, which is illegal. And they caught them shorting this stock into oblivion with no regard for morals or ethics. And Wall Street Bets won. Wall Street Bets won the war, but many people don't realize that the war is possibly over. They believe that they're still at war. If you no longer want to be holding GME at this point, after, if you realize that the squeeze is probably over and you decide to move from this position into something else, that is a perfectly logical outcome. That would make sense. But I'm still going to hold, and I ain't fucking leaving. So I want you guys to remember to invest responsibly and drink responsibly. This is a really good cider here. It has a nice sweet, if you like sweet ciders, this is really, really nice. It's got a nice balance between the sweet and the bitterness. Overall, I would probably give this Pineapple Cider from Austin East Ciders a 4 out of 5. I hope that you guys have a lot of luck with your investments, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, maybe ring the notification bell and subscribe. If you have any feedback or any ideas for future videos, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I appreciate that, and I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day.